Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Super excited to bring you this video today. First, want to apologize for all the noise you're probably hearing in the background. I'm actually not home. I'm overseas in the DR at Punta Cana, just trying to get some downtime in and take a break from reality for a second. But so as you can see, let me try to pan around. A little sneak peek of my environment right here. Yeah, so just came down here with the family, chilling at a resort. But, you know, regardless of being out on vacation, just wanted to get this information out. I've had some folks specifically ask about how to trace out your hatch lid when you don't have access to it underneath. Ideal situation is you can just reach right underneath and just trace it out, pull that deck off, and then make your cuts. And that's not always the case. And you know, people struggle with how do you get this done? So I'm gonna go into details on this because this is a very specific technique. So I wanna make sure that I can transfer all the information to you in this video. So in the first part of this video, I'll kind of run through it, what you need to do to get it done. And then I'm gonna pause and do a recap. And that recap is gonna be really important because it's going to take you through the nitty-gritty of it, all the details step by step. So watch the whole thing. I'm going to put a lot of specific information in there, but in the end, this is a pretty simple technique, and hopefully you guys will feel that way, and it'll be a good solution for you. It'll be a good option for you when you don't have access underneath your hatch to trace out the lid and make your cuts. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get back to some R&R. Hope you enjoy the video. All right, before we get too deep into today's video, just want to let you guys know Bass Brothers fishing hats are available, finally available on sale at sendittees.com, sporting our black, green, and gold colors as you've seen on the channel. So we're super excited to be able to finally bring this to you guys. We've gotten a lot of inquiries about it. Head over to sendittees.com. They're on sale right now. I will leave a link in the description below for your convenience to get this hat for yourself. All right, go ahead and cop it. It helps to support the channel, supports everything we're doing right now and everything we plan to do in the future, so we greatly appreciate it. Next up, we'll get these tees also online, so stay tuned to that. We appreciate the support as always. Now back to the video. All right, so we got this centerpiece here. This is probably the hardest part by far, which is to get the dimensions right to cut out the center hatch. And I'm saying that because there's walls. This is on the bench, the middle bench. There's no way to access underneath the hatch to be able to trace it out. So what we're gonna do is go with some good old architectural skills. My brother thought this up, not me. Shout out to him. It's always a challenge to try to figure this out. People can do it a ton of different ways to try to figure out how to mark your edges for your hatch opening when you cannot access it from underneath. So first thing we'll do is measure the actual hatch opening using the existing deck cutout, marking both sides of the deck based on the existing hatch openings. That will cover the measurement for the opening of the hatch going left to right. After that, remove the deck and do markings for the framing going from the front of the boat to the rear of the boat. What we just did here was to trace out the inside of the hatch all the way around. And this is for two reasons. One, for a point of reference to make sure we lay this wood decking back down in the exact same spot, because at this point we're getting ourselves locked into basically a mathematical equation here. So in the end, this deck needs to go exactly where it is now. So these are point of reference. Additionally, we drew a line right here along this edge, and this will be a point of reference from where the hatch opening actually opens. What I mean by that is this hatch opens here, obviously. The hatch underneath this deck that we cannot see actually opens up to about here. So with this point of reference here, we will know how many inches to go from this line to where this hatch opens. When we take this deck off, we'll be able to make those measurements and then transfer those measurements to the actual wood. Where we have this line right here, another important step is to draw a line up on the actual deck. Hopefully you guys can see that right there. What that's going to allow us to do when we flip this deck over, we'll use this as the marking to know where to draw a line all the way across underneath. That will give us our distance that we need to cover. So we know that this is an official point of reference as it relates to where the actual hatch opening is. So when we take this off, we're going to be able to measure from here to the actual distance of the hatch opening and transfer that to the decking. Now we're drawing the line going straight across from our previous mark And this will be our reference point for measuring for our hatch opening. All right, so we've got our lines drawn on both sides all the way across. These are our reference lines to measure from the hatch opening to this line right here. We're gonna get this distance right here, then transfer it over there. Then we'll know where to cut, where to cut. So right now we have the measurements from this line to the opening, which measured to 3 and 15/16, right? 3 and 15/16 space right here. And this is 2 and 1/8. Just giving you a point of reference for this boat. Of course, your boat will have whatever it has, but that's what we've measured up. We know the distance going from left to right and front to back. So one key thing to note is when you go to work on your deck, do not forget that everything is reversed. So left is now right, right is now left, because we're looking at the underbelly of the deck. All right, don't come over here and cut and measure based on the top side of the deck, because then you're gonna be a little screwed. So everything is in reverse over here. Right here, we extended the lines that we marked on the deck. Remember, this line is the point of reference for where we'll be making the cut. So we need to ultimately extend this all the way across and then measure this way.
Three and 11/16. 1, 2, 3, 11/16, right? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. This one is 15/16. 1, 2, 3. That's what?
Yeah, man, exact. 26 and 5/16 confirmed. So what we just did, and we're very happy, we did all our markings over here, got the exact dimensions of the hatch, and we just did a sanity check, measured 26 and 5/16 hatch opening on the wood, took the tape measure over here, and it's on the money, exact. That's how you do it. Got everything marked off for the center hatch. All my lines are drawn with the spacing, but let me show you how we got here. Remember, we're using the framing to guide us to where this opening is. When you have the deck on here, remember, you can't see any of this, okay? We're using what we can visibly see to measure what we can't see. So we went from here. We saw that this edge right here, we can use that as a measuring point. This line coincides with this line right here. So brought this up, that's the framing on the boat, and went across. Back over to the boat, took the wood off the boat, came back here, and then measured the distance from this line, which we marked on the wood I just showed you, to this edge right here. And then we measured the same distance and made a mark. Because the hatches were framed at total 90-degree angles, we could then bring a speed square using our mark reference point, get this speed square right here, and draw a straight line across. All right, that'll keep it a 90-degree angle using this. Did the exact same thing on the other side. Here's our mark on the wood from the framing, drew our line across, and then measured it on the boat on that side, came over here, did the same thing over there. So that covers this line and the one over there. We had to do these as well. And these were a little bit easier with the decking on it right here. We then measured the distance between this line, which represents where the deck stops, and this edge right here. Did it here, did it all the way around on both sides. Came over to our deck and then just transferred those measurements. This was about 2 1/8 or 2 1/16, something like that. And then made marks here and there, put a big ruler up, connected the dots, did that on both sides. Again, using this line right here, which represents the decking, Measure the distance here and transfer it from the edge of the wood, the deck, to here, okay, to that line. That gave us the exact measurements for the hatch opening. That's what I've got right there. From there, you just want to measure and extend your lid out enough so that it rests on the framing so your lid doesn't fall through. Never forget, don't cut the opening on your lid, else your lid's just going to fall through. You got to extend it over onto the deck so your lid rests on the framing. So that's what you can see. This second line going all the way across is the extension of the lid to rest on the framing. So I haven't done a third line for carpet gapping yet. I want to go ahead and cut this out, do the initial cut, get it on the boat, see how it looks. Got to make sure all these measurements will work. But wanted to pause and just show you guys, and hopefully this is coming through in the video and you understand what I'm saying. If you don't, just go back, play again, play again, play again until you get it. There you have it, all said and done. Gapped out nicely for carpet, ready to go. Turned out really well, all the measurements worked out. So I do recommend this. Again, take your time, get your measurements right, make your cuts, should work out pretty good. First step was to get all the markings on the framing. Second step was to transfer all those measurements to the deck, draw your lines. Third step is to cut everything out, get it back on the boat and see how it all works out. If you're faced with this, try this out. It worked out really well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see the full build to see how I got to this part, there's a playlist down below and I'll leave a card right up top right now for that. Don't forget, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share this with anyone you know that's out there who's building boats or just interested in cool things like this. A lot more coming your way. Stay tuned. See you in the next video.